3 days ago, I addressed Father Adrian and proclaimed my woes upon him. You see, long ago, I was inducted into the church as an orphan. I have no idea who my family was, and the thoughts have been cursing my soul ever since. It is forbidden for any member of the Church of St. Ichabod to dwell in their past lives, and those who join us swear upon the spirits that their old lives and future lives outside the church are from that point dead. However, there is one exception. As an inductee in Clancy, I had no oath to swear. The monks sent me to the abbey to be raised by the church mothers before I was mature enough to become a youth. Once upon that point in my life, I was raised by the monks who set my moral compass and baptized me on the witness of the true spirits. However, by the time I was chosen to become a monk, I had already noticed the church's woes. I declined the offer and instead became a temple guardian. Temple guardians are forbidden from communicating to other monks. However, we are also given keys to the entire monastery. After speaking to Father Adrian, who was the only monk who did not excommunicate me, revealed that there is one of many scrolls within the restricted cabinet of the scriptorium once used by the church to record the lives and children of influential individuals. He suggested that I look there. I have severe doubts that I could possibly be of any status, but it's best to cross my T's and dot my I's. Also, I must keep in mind that doing this sort of thing is heavily forbidden in the church, but thankfully, circutors cannot administer a caning to a temple guard. Father Adrian warned me that if I do find out about my past in these scrolls, he will have to shun me as well for his safety and mine, and he also advised that I should leave if that is to come to pass. I planned to anyways, but I dared not tell him. Doing this is obviously a taboo, otherwise I would not have reservations about the circutors. However, this is something that I deem is worth the risk of expulsion. I must know who my parents were. This scroll contains within the living testimony of King Xavius, first king of Glenheim. I recall to the time which I remember being the moment that sparked my pilgrimage away from old Amstein. When I was but a boy, I lived with a once distant relative. They never knew my name, and I her. She addressed me as boy, and I to her as master. She fed and clothed me, but I in turn, as she said, was cursed to clean after the horse for the rest of my life. Whether or not she noticed, I also enjoyed riding the horse. I wasn't very good, but I still tried. Also, she never truly owned the small shed of a house in which she was forcing me to live in. It was granted to her after her husband's demise, and I was but a mere slave to her. The only thing that I had ever proclaimed was in my ownership, were the things that I brought with me from the fire. I also tended to say that I owned the horse, but that was a lie. After my toiling was finished, I was allowed to go up into the rafters, for that was where I slept. Despite common knowledge that such places within a home are warm, her attic was cold. There were holes in the roof, it leaked when it rained, and it always reeked of old dew. Regardless, after a day's toiling, it was paradise, and I took that time to study the written word. About 2 years of being her ward was enough for anyone. I departed as soon as I could. Rather foolishly, the only things that I took with me were some tools I found lying around. And I ran through the woods, not looking back. Not too soon either, because by the end of that day, smoke filled the air. I knew full well at that point the home had been sacked. Surely, I had thought that this was a sign, if any, and continued on my path. I followed that narrow beaten path through the woods for many miles until the sun began to dip into the horizon. That was my sign to stop for the day. Luckily for me, when I gazed over the last knoll, I noticed a pond. My instincts and my dire thirst told me that I had to drink. It was a rather serene place indeed to stop, but a place to call home it was not. It would have to do for the night. Surely, as anyone could have guessed, I was seldom prepared for a journey like this. I had only brought with me a shovel, hammer, and a stave of wrought iron. But with that I began to make camp. A pile of rocks surrounded a circle for fire. We found 2 tree branches deep in the woods that would make excellent posts for a cover. That being said, the soil around the pond was damp and they hardly stood right. Once I had managed to place them where they were, and they stayed as such, I casted my bed linens over the top and made myself a lean-to for the night. Once my work was done and the flame stood next to me, I looked up and saw those stars. Hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? I know I've been saying again and again, I'm going to upload videos, and I just haven't. The last Minecraft video I uploaded was in 2018. So what gives? Well, the story of that is actually quite long, enough to be its own video, which I would happily do, but that's not the topic of this video. No, the topic of this video is my new project that I'm going to see from start to finish, even if it kills me. The Rise of Glenheim, a successor to a previous project called Amstein. As the name suggests, it's going to follow the rise of a kingdom, and if this video were to be a guide of anything, it's going to do so in a narrative format. That being said, logically, we're going to start small, and we're going to slowly ramp up as we go along. One house at a time, one tower, one castle at a time, until we have ourselves a nice little world that we can explore together. As the project, as it seems now, lacks any sort of foundation, and the style is still in its preliminary phases, off-screen, I would love to hear your input. You, the audience, the viewer. I want you to post your suggestions down below. Give me ideas, because this won't be a project without some kind of community involvement. So if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and follow me as we build the Kingdom of Glenheim.